The debate continues over who should cover the cost of the Henry Vilas Zoo to keep things free and accessible to families around here.
And amid a measles outbreak in New York State, one county is taking some pretty extreme measures to stop the spread.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 Now this morning on this Wednesday, March 27th. If you needed a reason to smile on this Wednesday, first of all, Chris Reese is here, always bringing the sunshine. And today you're bringing the warmth, too.
Yeah, there will be some warmth in our forecast, and we're already starting things out a lot warmer today as opposed to yesterday morning by 17 degrees here in Madison.
Love that.
Yes, so it already feels warm just being outside. It feels happy and alive, even though allergies are going to be coming back into the picture. Check out Black River Falls. They are 30 degrees warmer than they were at this time yesterday. We're at 37 degrees, folks. Yesterday at this time, it was 20. So, how about that? Yes, we are certainly moving in the right direction. 41 in Camp Douglas right now, same for Lone Rock. Boscobel at 42, and then we are at 37 again. Those winds still increasing out of the south, earlier at 9 miles per hour, now at 11 miles per hour. And we're going to watch that southerly wind increase all day long. We're talking being upwards of 15 to 25 miles per hour. So it's going to be breezy this afternoon. Maybe not the best hair day. Even my hair is going to struggle just all day long. Yes, it's going to be very rough. I'm going to need everything I can. Just keep that from blowing around. But we're watching those winds strongly out of the south right now. Expect those afternoon highs to be near 60 by the time all is said and done. And again, I just want to reiterate, plenty of sunshine out there. It's the pick day of the forecast.
Okay, so in case you have missed this ongoing debate on News 3 Now this morning, Chris is talking about allergies today because Josh is giving us some tips about them, and he wants to go back to winter.
Well, not necessarily.
So we can avoid them.
I would rather be cold while outside and warm inside than just miserable all day long for 3 months, because when I get allergies, it's like I'm dying.
You can't have it all, Chris. Come on.
Come on.
I know. All I'm saying is I may disappear for the next couple of months. I'm alive. I'm just dealing with the allergies.
All right, in case you were wondering where it'll be. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
We want to start this hour with developing details this morning on the future of Henry Vilas Zoo. Now, Dane County is moving forward with plans to provide paychecks for some of the employees there.
Christina Laurie has an update on a heated meeting that happened last night. Christina?
Leanne Danica, when the county's contract with the Henry Vilas Zoo Society expires this Sunday, visitors shouldn't notice any transitional changes. The county and the society have partnered to run the zoo for more than 100 years now. When that ends on March 31st, the county will take care of running on-grounds attractions, concessions, volunteer efforts, education programs, and marketing and outreach. Last night, the committee voted to approve an extra $600,000 to the zoo's 2019 operating budget, which will allow for 9 additional staff members to be put on the county's payroll. They also passed an amendment allowing the county to hire an outside company to take care of concessions. Now, those amendments will go to the Personnel and Finance Committee and must be approved by the full Dane County Board next month. Now, in full transparency, News 3 Now has a marketing agreement with the Friends of the Henry Vilas Zoo, which includes things like sponsorship of zoo events and the weather camera we show here on air. I know we use that a lot on the program.
Certainly not the last time we will be hearing about this. We'll continue to follow those developments. Thank you, Christina.
You're welcome.
In other news this morning, a federal ban on bump stocks is officially in effect today across the country. That new ban went into place yesterday. That means anyone who owns those bump stocks are asked to turn them in or destroy any they may still have. Bump stocks allow a weapon to fire hundreds of rounds per minute. The devices came under scrutiny after the October 2017 massacre in Las Vegas, where 58 people were killed by a shooter using rifles fitted with bump stocks. While several groups have challenged the ban in court, it is this morning in full effect. More local news this morning as a second judge has now blocked parts of Republican-backed laws passed in last December's lame duck session, which limited the power of the governor and the attorney general. Specifically, Judge Frank Remington blocked language that requires Attorney General Josh Kaul to get legislative approval before settling cases. A group of unions filed a lawsuit arguing the bills passed in the lame duck session steal power from the executive branch and consequently, I should say, interfere with separation of powers. Now, this comes a week after another Dane County judge blocked the laws in their entirety. That ruling's connected to another suit filed by liberal-leaning groups that allege the lame duck session itself was illegal. Republicans have already asked a state appeals court for a stay in that ruling.
A new report shows Satya Rhodes-Conway has raised more money in the race for Madison's next mayor than incumbent Paul Soglin. The State Journal reports in the latest fundraising period from February 5th through March 18th, Rhodes-Conway raised almost $126,000, while Mayor Soglin had $77,000. As far as overall fundraising from July 1st until now, Rhodes-Conway has raised $210,000 compared to Soglin's $189,000. The spring election, by the way, is next Tuesday. New this morning, a county up in New York says kids and teens who haven't gotten their measles vaccine are banned from public spaces. Rockland County, about 45 minutes north of New York City, has declared a state of emergency there due to the measles outbreak. 153 people have contracted measles there, most of them children. Starting today, anyone 18 years old and under who isn't vaccinated can't enter any public space. That includes schools, restaurants, shops, and churches.
Into the Channel 3000 Alert Center this morning, you will want to check your freezer and fridge. There's a recall out for almost 5,000 pounds of beef products that may be contaminated with E. coli. Those products are beef heel meat and chuck tender products from Aurora Packing Company in Illinois. Now, they were produced and packed at the end of February. Those items were shipped to Wisconsin, Illinois, and Iowa. While there are no reports yet of any illness connected to these products, the Department of Agriculture says you should toss any of them with the code EST788 under the USDA mark of inspection. 6:06 right now. We are still at least a month away from the peak of spring allergy season, but you may start noticing it kick in this week.
Yeah, the southerly winds and warmer, drier conditions Chris is talking about are making for some early sniffles out there. Our Josh Breiter is live tracking the allergy forecast for us. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. So we have been dreaming about this nicer weather for a very long time, but we know with that nicer weather comes the allergies. Well, after a very wet fall and wet winter, we are beginning to dry out, and with the warm up, that bloom is set to be big this year, and we're going to be seeing some big problems because of it. So how do allergies happen? Well, according to doctors, the immune system mistakenly sees the pollen as a danger and releases antibodies that attack the allergens. That leads to the release of chemicals called histamines into the blood. Histamines then trigger the runny nose, itchy eyes, and other symptoms. Now, not everyone has allergies, and those who do react differently, but doctors have at least one way to help you through it.
A nasal steroid, so Flonase and Nasonex are the big ones, and they're now over the counter, so can be picked up pretty easily at your pharmacy, and it's just 2 sprays in each nostril once a day.
Dr. Lisa Netkowicz with SSM Health says that nasal steroid will help decrease congestion and help with the sinus pressure and the drainage into your throat, which can give you that nasty cough. You can also use over-the-counter antihistamines like Allegra, Claritin, and Zyrtec. And if you're one that typically knows about when you start to feel those effects of allergies, doctors say it's best to start taking those precautions about 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time. That way your body is ready to take on the allergies once they set in. And you know, Chris and I tend to agree on a lot of things, but one of these things is not going to be allergies, because I will gladly take a runny nose and some watery eyes over snow. So sorry, Chris, love you, buddy, but not for me.
All right, I'm with you there, Josh. Josh Breiter reporting live for us this morning. Thank you, Josh, and you're starting to see those buds on the tree as well.
Love that. You can hear Chris giggling over here.
Yeah.
All right, 6:08 your time now. You might have a hard time convincing the kids to do anything educational on their spring break this week, but there's a really cool activity happening today that they might get into. We're talking about how your student can learn about jobs in the gaming and computer coding industries after the break.
Pretty hard to believe, but after temperatures in the 60s today, we could have a little bit of snow this weekend. Come on, Chris Reese is going to try to break down some pretty wild temperature changes this week, and of course that precipitation when News 3 Now this morning continues.
And good Wednesday morning to all of you. It's going to be a pretty spectacular day out there. Temperatures starting out substantially warmer than this time yesterday as well. Overall by 17 degrees warmer here in Madison, 19 degrees warmer in the Dells. In fact, Camp Douglas 25 degrees warmer than just 24 hours ago. That's where the temperature is 41 degrees. Same for our friends over in Lone Rock, 42 in Boscobel. We're at 37 right now here in Madison. A little bit of cloud cover, but not completely overcast. We do have those winds coming out of the south at 11 miles per hour. We're going to keep that southerly wind around just about all day long. In fact, it's going to be increasing upwards towards 15 to 25 miles per hour. And then we could see those highs right around the 60-degree mark. High pressure in control will keep us dry today, even though that cloud cover is going to start working its way on in. But we're on the edge of that region of high pressure. That's really starting to develop a southerly wind flow that's going to allow that warmer air to build into the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. Now, later on tonight, more so into the day on Thursday, we are going to watch cold front that begins to move in from the north and west. It's going to bring in a little bit of cooler air towards the end of the week and the weekend. We do have to watch where that front sets up. How far south does that front get? Because there's going to be a region of low pressure that develops and rides along that front, and that's going to bring chances for rain and or, yes, snow wherever that is. But if that front is farther towards the south, then we will likely be more so on the dry side, though chilly, but no snow will fall. So that's something we've got to watch closely towards the weekend. I'll show you some other models on how that's shaping up, but things are trending in a good direction for us. 50 degrees by the time we get you towards lunchtime today, eventually topping out around 60 later on. Even throughout dinner time, you're going to have those temperatures in the upper 50s. So if you need a day to get outdoors for dinner, this is for sure the day to do that. Overnight tonight, we'll see some cloud cover around. Temperatures still in the upper 40s and low 50s going into tomorrow morning's lows. So we're generally going to be in a milder pattern, not just today, but even tomorrow. And tomorrow we could see those highs close to 60 degrees as well. Perhaps just a little bit colder with some cloud cover around. Here's that weekend system. Yesterday, this exact same model was showing a full-blown snowstorm around here, but you can see how that has trended towards the south and a bit weaker, so we are now no longer appearing as likely to see chances for snow this weekend, but being on the drier side of things. However, wherever that rain sets up, it could be some pretty heavy rain for a time. We're talking perhaps an inch or more of rain just to our south, right along that cold front. So for a lot of folks, it could be a pretty soggy weekend, especially if you're going to be traveling. Hopefully, we can keep things dry for us. After a cool down this weekend, we'll notice things beginning to warm back up towards average, if not slightly above average, as we work our way through next week and towards the end of next week. So again, plenty of sunshine today. Look for those temperatures to top out around 60 degrees. In fact, we'll still be close to 60 as we go through your Thursday. We'll watch the rain chance for the weekend, but things are trending a little bit drier as of now. Some sunshine early next week before temperatures return to the 50s with chances of rain by the middle of next week as well. Now let's go to Josh Tim with your first alert traffic. Josh.
Yeah, nothing major on the Beltline this morning. Things are moving well in both directions at this point. Checking out other roads here in Dane County, a crash earlier at the intersection of Junction and Monroe Point Road may be causing some extra brake lights, and a few of the usual slowdowns on northbound Verona Road approaching the Beltline. No delays showing up downtown on campus. Volume not a factor at this point. And other routes coming into the city, they're cruising at the usual speeds with no major issues. With your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
All right, Josh, thank you. And Chris, thank you so much. So if your child loves gaming or maybe trying out new computer programs, there's a pretty cool workshop going on today to show them they could actually make a career out of it.
This is a really neat event. The Public Library and Urban League of Greater Madison are hosting a Spring Break Gaming and Coding Day. Here to talk about the event with us this morning are Michelle Heitzinger with the Urban League and event coordinator Reggie Thetford. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having us on.
Michelle, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about the event.
Yeah, so the Urban League of Greater Madison applied for this grant funding through the City of Madison Mayor's Office, and we're granted the funding through also a program called My Brother's Keeper, which is a program for giving learning experiences for youth, male youth of color. But we've been able to expand this program to all at Madison area middle and high schoolers to be part of the day today. And we've had over 80 participants registered for it. being hosted at the downtown Madison Library, which is a beautiful facility. They're giving us the rooms, some laptops. Also, Madison Metropolitan School District is giving us computers for the day for these kids to learn on. And then we have amazing tech companies or gaming and coding companies that are coming and donating their time for the kids today to talk about their what they do for work. And Reggie is the one that secured all those companies for us.
Yeah, so we have Gear Learning, UW affiliate. We have Madem. We have Bump. In a group called Hollows, and they're all gaming and software companies, but one of the greatest things that we'll be seeing is a demonstration. Well, all of them will be great, I'll say that, but one of the probably the most unique experience that we'll see is a virtual reality by Hollows, which is an educational tool that allows students to kind of be fully immersed into a learning environment. I know I would love to have been a child nowadays getting this tech exposure.
Yeah, Reggie, do you think that kids understand, particularly kids of color who will be at this event today, understand that the screens that they're on every day could be the gateway to a potential career?
Yeah.
I think some, and maybe, you know, this is generational difference that, you know, they see where technology is advancing.
Yeah.
But definitely I would say exposing young folks of color, especially to industry that you don't see people of color in much, I think is a great way to diversify moving forward the tech industry.
And it's all about starting them young, right? Getting them hands-on experience with some of these things they might not have ever considered as careers.
Yes.
That, and part of what we've charged the companies with is that it's to talk to these kids about, if this is a career that you want to go into, you can make money at this, and what are help them with what the classes are that they'll want to take, what they might want to pursue for college. Maybe it is a tech college versus a regular four-year degree, so that these can be employable jobs for you in the future.
So I know you guys said 80 people already, or kiddos already registered, but you people can show up today with their parents, though.
We need a parent or guardian because they need to sign the permission slip.
So that goes from 10 to 4 today over at the Central Library, as Michelle mentioned. All middle and high schoolers welcome. Again, guys, bring your parents so they can sign off on that permission slip.
Michelle and Reggie, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to see you. All right, so I might have a little trip for myself today. This one to Stoughton to get an autograph from my favorite guy on the court. It is Giannis Antetokounmpo. He is in Stoughton, and we will unfortunately let you know where you can join me because I want to be the only one in line. That's next on News 3 Now this morning.
We are looking at more sunshine today as the sun continues to rise over the horizon. We've got a beautiful sunrise starting to take up shape for us here in the Madison area. Temperatures are mainly in the 30s for most of us. We're at 37 right now in town. Wind out of the south at 11 miles per hour. We're going to keep that south wind around going through the rest of the day. Get this, we're 17 degrees warmer right now than we were at this time yesterday. Yesterday, if you were heading out the door, it was 20 degrees. So if you are getting ready to step out, get excited, folks, because that warmth is indeed on the way. We're going to keep that warmth around this afternoon as well. Expect those highs to be near 60 degrees along with sunshine. If you have school or you're not on spring break, hello, Wanakee. I know that you all are some of the kids. Here's the deal. Going to school, you are going to see those temperatures in the mid-30s. By the time you're picking up the kids from school later, expect those temperatures in the upper 50s. Danica?
All right. Thank you so much, Chris. So lines will be longer than the Greek Freaks wingspan or any win streak the Bucks went on this season. But my boy, number 34, Giannis Antetokounmpo, will be in Stoughton later today for a 2-hour meet and greet. That is happening at Coons Country Buick and GMC of Stoughton. That's just off Highway 51 west of Stoughton. The event is open to the public. Autographs will happen, we are told, on a first-come, first-served basis. That goes from 5 until 7 tonight.
Plus, today's the day you can buy single-game tickets for Forward Madison FC's home games over at Breese-Stevens Field. Tickets range in price from $16 to $45 in the new hospitality deck area. That includes food and drink options. Starting at 10 today, you can buy those tickets at forwardmadisonfc.com. Just yesterday, the team announced an international friendly with one of Germany's biggest pro soccer teams, Hertha Berlin. That's coming to Breese-Stevens on May 24th. All right, as people across the Midwest work to recover from recent flooding, we're learning about how those high waters could be contaminating the water we're all drinking.
We'll have more on that. Plus, we are learning that the governor's gas tax might be a little more expensive than what he originally proposed. The day's top stories are next right here on News 3 Now this morning.
As people across the Midwest work to clean up flooding damage, residents in Adams County say the high waters have been an issue for years.
We are warming up and drying out, and that means, yes, it is time to stop talk about spring allergies. I'm Josh Brighter live with just how bad it could be this spring and how you can help get yourself through it.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 Now this morning on this Wednesday, March 27th. And both our morning boys are out on the patio this morning because it's almost 20 degrees warmer this morning than it was yesterday.
Not too shabby. Let's turn it over to Chris Reese first with a look at the day's temperatures. And Chris, they're going to feel pretty nice.
Yeah, they're going to feel absolutely amazing, especially as we get you towards this afternoon. In fact, temperatures right now have already started off on a milder note compared to this time yesterday. So as you step outside, do be prepared for that. Here's a camera from Platteville looking towards the east. You can see the sun starting to rise on the far horizon. They've got a little bit more cloud cover over Platteville right now. That's where a wave of some heavier cloud cover is working its way on through. But that's all going to be passing by, and there won't be a lot of moisture associated with any of this cloud cover. So don't expect any kind of rainfall going through today. For the most part, we should be dry. Get this, the temperature right now, 41 in Lone Rock and 42 in Boscobel. Here in Madison, we do see that temperature at 37 degrees. Those winds are coming out of the south at 11 miles per hour. That's what's going to work to keep those temperatures warm as we go into the afternoon. In fact, we're talking plenty of sunshine and highs right around 60 degrees. I know Josh Brighter is far, far away from where I am right now talking about allergies later on, but I'm pretty sure he is going to enjoy those temperatures being close to 60. Now, first alert traffic for anyone who is headed out early this morning. This is the Beltline at Park Street, and the cars are out there. They are certainly moving along smoothly. No issues are showing up. In fact, we have mainly green on the roadways, which is, of course, what we like to see for this time of the year. If you are going to be cruising along anywhere, the only real slowdown is on northbound Verona Road towards the Beltline. They're doing the construction, and, of course, they have that lane shift that did occur earlier on this week. So that's creating just a little bit of a delay, but so far nothing huge showing up for us just yet.
Green on the roadways, starting to see green on the grass as well, and apparently causing some issues out there for you, Chris.
I know my allergies started yesterday. They're not getting too bad as of yet, but allergy season for me can be a struggle sometimes.
Buddy.
So
I hear you there.
hopefully I'm able to survive it well. I know down south we just straight have pollen season.
Yeah, exactly.
So I haven't seen that yet.
All right, thank you so much, Chris.
My pleasure.
Speaking of allergies, if you or your kids are already sniffling and sneezing this week, you're not alone. You just heard Chris. You heard Danica. Doctors say this spring could be particularly bad when it comes to allergies.
That's right. The pollen count is beginning to rise as we warm up and dry out. Josh Brighter is live in the backyard as well with what we can expect here at home. Hi, Josh.
Good morning. So Chris was talking about those southerly winds. Well, those winds are going to kind of help pump up some of that pollen from those areas in full bloom to the south of us. And when you couple that in with our warming temperatures here, we're starting to see some sprouting out here on the patio. We're going to have some allergy problems starting this week, folks. So what happens is when we're dealing with these allergies, trees, grasses, and weeds release tiny grains into the air to fertilize other plants. When they get into the nose, they send the body's defenses haywire. Now, experts say because we saw such a wet fall and winter, the ground stayed moist, and that could be a big problem for allergy sufferers this spring. If you're someone who struggles with allergies year-round, it's time to see an allergist or doctor.
Where they would look at specific common allergies to see what a person's reacting to. And then you can have a little bit more targeted treatment in knowing what season is going to be the worst season for you.
Dr. Lisa Netkowicz with SSM Health says it's best to start those preventative measures ahead of time. She recommends a nasal steroid like Flonase or Nasonex. You can also take antihistamines like Claritin, Allegra, or Zyrtec. Now, we are about a month away from the forecasted peak of allergy season, but doctors say it's best to get out ahead of it. So that means starting those preventative measures about 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time. Even though that might mean more money out of your pocket, it might mean that you can get through those allergies ahead of time. I'm talking to you, Chris. We are going to be dealing with these allergies coming up. I can already tell, ladies, this morning, just by being out here just these few minutes at a time, I'm already starting to sniffle. My eyes are watering a little bit, but I will take it because 60 degrees sounds pretty darn good to me.
Could be worse, folks. Could be worse. Could be back in winter. All right. Thank you, Josh.
So on the other side of the climate spectrum, 16 counties across the state are still dealing with flood damage. It's costing those governments an estimated $2 million.
But for some people living in Adams County, standing water is nothing new. Neighbors in the Big Flat Township have been slowly abandoning their homes after years of flooding issues there. They say it started after a pipeline construction project about 3 years ago. The few people still there are in a bind, as the county has not been declared a federal emergency zone, and it's not in a floodplain either. That means those residents do not qualify for federal assistance and can't bill insurance. Roy Bragg has now been running pumps to help manage the water on his property since March 15th.
I wanted a little bit of the American dream and had a short walk to my job and loved my shop, and I got this. So it's actually turned into an American nightmare.
All your neighbors.
All right, Bragg owned a business there for 7 years, but closed it, saying it's hard to get customers when it's always flooded. The stream running through his yard now, he says he occasionally sees trout swimming in it.
Wow. Across the Midwest, more than 1 million private wells might face the risk of contamination from recent and ongoing floodwaters, especially in rural areas. That poses a threat to drinking water supplied by those wells, as the high water and swift current carries things like raw sewage from unburdened treatment plants. Now, the National Groundwater Association says there are 1.1 million private wells in 300 flooded counties across 10 different states.
A teenager in Milwaukee is fighting for his life this morning after being hit by a car while he was walking to the bus stop. 16-year-old DeAndre Isom Jr. is on life support at Children's Hospital with severe brain damage. Investigators say the driver stayed at the scene and is cooperating with the investigation. No charges have been filed yet. Isom's family members are calling for that driver to be held accountable and face more than just a ticket. The man who killed a Lake Mills fire captain in a crash on New Year's Eve will hear the evidence against him later today. Samuel Kremers was initially arrested on suspicion of drunk driving in the crash that killed Captain Chris Truman. But when police tested his blood alcohol level, it was under the legal limit. He is still charged with operating with a suspended license causing death, and that is a felony. He faces up to 6 years in prison if he's convicted.
So if you take the interstate to get to Madison or Beloit in the morning, traffic will be moving a bit slower, especially over the next few weeks. The DOT is reducing the speed limit to 60 miles per hour on parts of I-3990 from the Beltline interchange all the way down to the Illinois border to keep work crews safe. So a reminder that penalties for speeding in work zones are doubled, and it is illegal to talk on your cell phone while driving through those areas.
We could see an even bigger price at the pumps under the governor's new plan to increase the gas tax by nearly a dime over the next 2 years. The Journal Sentinel reports that's about 2 cents more than he originally talked about while promoting his spending plan. The increase is part of his plan to move more money toward roads. Wisconsin's gas tax is currently at 32.9 cents, but it would jump to 42.5. He says the increase would be offset by another proposal to eliminate the minimum markup law on gasoline. That's a measure that requires gas stations to increase the price by just over 9% above the average wholesale price.
All right, it is almost 6:37 right now, and state lawmakers are working to increase pay for nursing aides here, saying the shortage of people in that field is already a crisis. The story's coming up in the morning sprint.
And while a Rock County craftsman works on a plan to build houses for the homeless, some neighbors are pushing back. That story's next when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
Welcome back. The city of Janesville is moving forward this morning with ideas on how to provide more housing for the homeless. That's despite some pushback from neighbors.
According to county leaders, Rock County is home to roughly 350 homeless people. Earlier this year, local craftsman Richard Snyder proposed building tiny homes for them. Since then, he says he's raised thousands of dollars. He's even been given a free lot to build those houses on.
For one individual, a homeless person, it would be ideal compared to sharing a bunk with 10 others in a large room. I mean, this would give somebody that personal, private feeling and transitional living, as well as a 600 square foot home for a young couple, you know, or anybody in need.
The Janesville Gazette reports residents in the 4th Ward, where the free lot is located, are not in favor of the plan. They tell the paper they're worried it could bring crime to the neighborhood if those homes aren't managed properly.
6:41 right now. Chris Reese has some of the best and worst news of the day. A beautiful forecast for your Wednesday with sunny skies and warmer temperatures. But then we will drop back down in temperature with chances for rain and snow by the end of the week. Bummer. Your first alert forecast is coming up.
But first, it's March 27th. We want to say happy birthday to Gerald and all the kids turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us right here on News 3 Now this morning.
Well, dry conditions along with some sunshine are going to be sticking around as we go through today, as high pressure does remain in control. But it's a storm system back to the west that will begin to play a role in our weather, especially as we get closer towards the weekend. Let's start you with how things are right now. If you're headed out the door, temperatures are mainly in the upper 30s and low 40s for us. Lone Rock at 41, Boscobel at 42. We're also at 41 for our friends in Prairie du Chien right now. Jadesville, you guys are at 36, 34. Monroe, Madison at 37 degrees right now. The sun starting to work its way above the horizon. A little bit of pink and red there. Winds are coming out of the south at 11 miles per hour. We're going to be keeping that southerly wind around just about all day long. That's really going to allow those temperatures to warm up. In fact, we are forecasting a high of 60 today, which is 12 degrees above where we should be for this time of the year. And you can actually see the warmth starting to nose up through the Midwest as we speak. The Twin Cities are warmer than we are. They have temperatures in the 40s. Omaha at 51 degrees this morning. So what you're seeing for morning temperatures to our west, that's going to be us as we get you into tomorrow. So there's something to really look forward to as this warmer air continues to pump its way on into the upper Midwest and parts of the Great Lakes region. The one thing that's going to change things up, though, we have a cold front that's starting to work its way in out of Canada today. That's going to be pushing away some of this warmer air as we go through Thursday and into Friday. As that works its way towards the south, we're going to watch a region of low pressure develop just to the east of Denver. That's going to come off the Rockies and actually ride along this cold front. What we have to watch with the forecast is how far south this cold front is able to push as this region of low pressure comes out of the Rockies. The reason for that, it's going to produce some precipitation along and just north of that. And so if we can keep this further to our south, it's going to keep that greater precipitation chance to our south as well. And notice what's on the northern edge of that. Yes, stuff that no one here wants to see. And so if this stays to the south, we will actually be free of that snow chance. But we're going to have to watch that one very closely. Sunshine this afternoon, temperatures going up towards 60 degrees. Even throughout dinner time, we're going to keep those temperatures fairly mild. Overnight tonight, lows are going to struggle to drop below that 50-degree mark. This is 5:30 tomorrow morning with temperatures near 49 degrees. And then even still, your Thursday is going to see highs near 58 degrees, even with northerly wind. And then towards the weekend, the latest trend on the models has, again, been to keep this farther towards the south, perhaps some cloud cover, but staying mainly dry and snow-free. Hopefully it stays that way. We will watch the trends in the models as we go through the next couple of days. More sunshine, though, does return as we get you towards next week. We're talking sunshine and 46 for Monday, 51 on Tuesday. Another chance of rain does arrive by Wednesday and Thursday. We'll keep a close eye on that, but even still, temperatures do appear fairly mild. Here's Nina, or Nina, however you want to pronounce it. But I'm thinking Nina in Madison. If you are out walking the dog today, temperatures will be near 58 degrees by 3 o'clock. So plenty of weather, no excuses to walk your dog.
Look at that haircut, those little ears.
I know.
Very,
so
very cute.
I love the haircut.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Yes, my pleasure.
Good morning, Sprint's coming up next right here on News 3 Now this morning. 6:51, time for the morning sprint. Chris is talking about a beautiful spring day, and Josh Spreiter tells us why that nice weather could kick off a pretty bad allergy season.
But we start with Christina Laurie, who's reporting on developing details this morning on the future of the Henry Vilas Zoo. Christina?
Good news for families. The zoo is staying open and free even as the county's contract with the Zoological Society expires this Sunday. But there will be some changes behind the scenes. After a contentious meeting last night, the county's Public Works Committee is approving an extra $600,000 to the zoo's 2019 operating budget, which will allow for 9 zoo staff members to be added to the county's payroll. Those jobs were previously handled by members of the society, and the county is now offering those people to continue on as county employees. The board also approved a contract for an outside company to handle concessions at the zoo. Those changes still have to be approved by the full Dane County board at their meeting in a little more than 2 weeks.
Tina, thank you. There's a recall for some beef products that could be in your freezer. Almost 5,000 pounds of beef heel meat and chuck tender products from Aurora Packing Company may be contaminated with E. coli. There are no reports of illnesses so far, but you should toss any products with the code EST788 under the USDA mark of inspection.
A county in New York State says kids and teens who haven't gotten their measles vaccine are banned from public places. Rockland County, about 45 minutes north of New York City, has declared a state of emergency due to the measles outbreak there. 153 people in all have contracted measles. Most of them are children. Starting today, anyone 18 years old and under who isn't vaccinated can't enter any public space.
I'm Josh Spreiter, live on the patio this morning. As we warm up and dry out this week, doctors are seeing more people coming in with allergy problems. Now, medical experts say that this spring could be particularly bad when it comes to allergies. After a wet few months, they're expecting a big bloom. Pollen is the main concern to kick off the season, which we're seeing this week with warmer temperatures and southerly winds. Doctors say it's best to start those preventative measures about 2 to 3 weeks before symptoms typically come in. You can use nasal steroids and antihistamines to help you through it. And if you still struggle with allergies after that, you're recommended to see an allergist.
High pressure and control means we're going to keep the sunshine around today along with the dry weather. We are watching a little bit of cloud cover, though, trying to stream in. But for the most part, there's not a lot of moisture to produce any kind of rainfall. Temperatures are mild starting out this morning. In fact, most of us are in the upper 30s and low 40s. But as we move through the rest of the afternoon, plenty of sunshine comes in. We're expecting highs right around 60.
Thank you, Chris. The man who's reportedly admitted to kidnapping Jamie Kloss and killing her parents is expected to enter a plea in Barron County Court today. Jake Patterson is scheduled for an arraignment this afternoon. A man claiming to be Patterson reached out to a Minneapolis TV station earlier this month, saying he planned to plead guilty and spare Jamie the pain of going through a trial.
Judge, in my time in the district attorney's office, I can state that this is the most serious, most brutal, and most violent set of facts that I've come across.
That right there is the assistant DA over in Dodge County, who says the man accused of killing his ex-wife in Beaver Dam appears to have pre-planned her execution-style murder. Ulysses Medina Espinoza made his first appearance in court yesterday, facing homicide charges in the death of Stacia Hollinshead. Court documents say Espinoza had become erratic since Hollinshead was granted sole custody of their 5-year-old daughter. Those documents show he shot Hollinshead at least 15 times within earshot of their daughter.
FAA officials will be on Capitol Hill today talking about changes to aviation oversight. That includes allowing aircraft manufacturers to sign off on their own work in that agency's name. Now, senators are looking into the FAA's oversight of Boeing in particular after 2 fatal crashes involving Boeing 737 MAX 8s over the past few months. Boeing officials will meet today as well, preparing to brief pilots on a fix to software investigators say could be related to both of those crashes.
A second judge has now blocked parts of Republican-backed laws passed in last December's lame duck session, which limited the power of the governor and attorney general. Judge Frank Remington blocked language that requires AG Josh Kaul to get legislative approval before settling cases. This comes just a week after another Dane County judge blocked the laws in their entirety after liberal-leaning groups alleged the lame duck session itself was illegal.
Average gas prices are up again overnight across the state, and we could see an even more expensive price at the pump under the governor's gas tax plan. The Journal-Sentinel reports that tax will increase by nearly a dime over the next 2 years. That's 2 cents more than what the governor had originally pitched to put more money toward roads.
A proposal to increase paratransit fares from $3.25 to $4 per ride is still under consideration here in Madison. There's also a chance people using that system would only be able to pay in cash and that it would only offer curb-to-curb services rather than making door-to-door pickups. Madison Metro will talk the city's Transportation Commission through the latest rider and revenue numbers later today.
These are folks who are changing soiled diapers. These are folks who are moving people, making sure people don't get bed sores, who are ensuring that a quality of life is maintained, and it is hard, physical, grueling work.
A bill at the state capitol would increase pay for Wisconsin nursing aides and make some training for more personal care workers more affordable and accessible. This series of bills called the CNA Pay Act was introduced by Democratic lawmakers yesterday. Supporters say the starting wage for CNAs is around $10.75. That's more than $1 under what unskilled workers make an hour on average.
6:57. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with a look at your First Alert traffic. Hi, Josh.
Yeah, good morning. Still pretty quiet on the Beltline right now, although the usual crowd is beginning to show up heading westbound. Inbound side of John Nolan moving well, just one patch of brake lights near the Olin Avenue intersection. Rona Road, you're picking up near Raymond Road, but other main routes coming into the city, they're cruising at the usual speeds with no major issues. For your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh.
And we continue to see more sunshine as we go through the morning. Temperatures are right at 35 degrees. Winds still coming out of the south. We're going to watch those temperatures continue to increase throughout the day. Expect those highs all the way near 60 and then more warmth into Thursday as well. There is a rain chance going into the weekend, but we're going to watch the details on that one. If that cold front goes farther south, we may stay dry.
All right, we like that. Thank you very much, Chris, and thank you all for joining us. Enjoy the beautiful day out there.